I think that evil provides really very good reasons, unfortunately, for concluding that God does not exist.
So you're not happy God doesn't exist?
No. I have atheistic friends who say, gee, you wouldn't want to see God existing. That seems very strange, right? I mean, look, God is all-powerful, all-knowing, perfectly good. It seems to me that that's just the sort of being you'd want to exist. I don't think my chances or your chances of surviving death are very good if there's no God, right?
Right.
If there's God, at least there's a pretty reasonable chance.
Yeah, so you would like God to exist, but you really don't think he does, and evil is probably the best reason. Why not?
First of all, it's a very natural sort of argument, okay? I mean, in everyday life, when we look at how people behave, we draw conclusions about what they're like, okay, right? And the world is a stage for God if he exists, okay? And so if you look at what happens in the world, right, it looks like a very natural conclusion to draw concerning the existence of God and the nature of God, that God is, if there is a creator, he's not morally perfect.
Well, we know there are different kinds of evil. There's massive evil, like a Hitler. There's personal evil, so-called moral evils. And then there are the natural evils of the world, whether it's earthquakes and tsunamis or animal suffering.
I don't think the distinction is really crucial. Some people do. Now, suppose that you were more powerful than you are, more knowledgeable, and lived at the time of Hitler, and you knew that he had this great plan, okay, right? He was going to kill 6 million people, right? Suppose that you could have given him a stroke. What would you have done? You say, oh, don't.
I mean, if we imagine a God who's created the entire universe or multiverse, who has, vast interest there, well, reality could be much more complex than our minds can conceive.
Okay, you made an excellent point. I mean, what you've said, in fact, is that you could have these evils I referred to, Hitler, the tsunami, and so on, and have an all-powerful, all-knowing, perfectly good God. And that seems to be right. In the past, people tried to argue that was impossible, okay, that you couldn't have the two. I think that's wrong, but what I think is
that you can have an all-good, all-powerful God who allows these massive evils because there's some greater good in some way.
That's right, precisely, right. And so I think that sort of version of the argument from evil doesn't work. But the version I favor is one that says that those things are evidence against the existence of God, and unless you've got some sort of countervailing argument, they carry the day.
So if you weigh the balance, obviously your scale would tip towards no God, but how close is it?
Well, if there's only one evil you're looking at, it's really quite close, okay, right? I think all you can show is that the probability that God exists is less than 1/2. So it's a bit worse than an even bet, okay? But as the number of evils go up, I claim you can prove that the probability goes down quite dramatically.
But are you not admitting that there could be the greater good?
Well, there could be greater good, but there could be greater evil. I mean, so if you appeal to unknown goods and evils, right, then of course there could be a greater good that justifies it, but there could be a greater evil that makes the situation even worse than it appears to be.
I see. So therefore you stay, and that one evil makes it less than half, and if you have multiple innumerable evil, it becomes a probability factor that approaches zero as a limit.
That's right. It's a very simple formula. If there are a million evils, the probability God exists is 1/1,000,001.